Hello and welcome. It's Anna here. This is live with Cycling UK, and it's another session of An Audience With. It's kind of weird actually, because the evenings are getting brighter and it feels a little bit strange to be cracking out the vino this early when the sun's still out. But that's what this is all about, is having an evening in together with the cycling community. It was started by Cycling UK at the start of lockdown because we're not really getting our social fix as cyclists. And let's face it, that is really important to us. It's not just about the bike riding, is it? It's about having a drink with your mates afterwards and talking about how fast you went, or in my case, how slow you might have gone. So we've organised this evening to bring everyone together and to bring some of the best loved names in cycling straight into your front rooms. Cycling UK is a charity and they do so much stuff to really support the cycling community, to get more people on bikes cycling safely, easily and enjoyably. And in this time of lockdown, I'm sure we've all seen so many more people taking to their bikes on the roads. It's insane. So many new cyclists out there, and Cycling UK are fully behind supporting that. They're fully behind loads of campaigns. And one of their really big ones at the moment is a fundraiser. So they're raising money because they've decided to give free membership to NHS and public health workers who maybe are cycling to work at this moment and the frontline battle against COVID-19. So I'm sure you can agree it's a brilliant cause. And we are just 3,000 short of the 25k objective at the moment. So thank you so much to everyone who's donated already. And if you can help us get over that finish line, we'd be seriously grateful. We've got a really exciting fundraiser as part of this coming up. It's 7 miles, £7, and nominating 7 people. But I'm going to be going into that in one of our games a little bit later on. It's very exciting. And that's what this evening, again, is also all about, to highlight some of these causes, letting you know about it, as well as having fun. It's our Ride Save Lives campaign, so more about that very soon. But actually what we want to move on to right now is our guest of the day. Yeah, really excited. So get your thumbs ready, because tonight we have cycling commentator and artist Marty MacDonald. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the 2020 edition Marty's Arty Parry Roubaix. This is what the riders have ahead of them today. 259 brutal kilometres cobbled sections marked 1 to 5 in severity. Carrefour de l'Arc and the famous Arenberg Forest. Rolling out of Compiègne, beautiful start for the riders. We were wanting rain, it didn't come. It was a beautiful sunny day that they had ahead of them. These are the previous legends. Who will take the title today? Philippe Gilbert back to defend his title. Greg Van Avermaet in the orange, of course, Olympic champion, winner of the reason on the Van Virtual Edition. That early breakaway through. Matthew Van der Poel is in there in that Alpecin Phoenix kit. Van Avermaet and Gilbert both made it into this leading group now. Always that early breakaway through. Down to 3 riders. Van der Poel, Stibar and Van Avermaet working beautifully together for the newbies. Gilbert is coming up from that chasing group like an express train, and here he is, Gilbert, and in true style, straight through to the front to do some work. Matthew Van der Poel on the back, hops really beautiful showboating from the Dutchman. Bit of cat and mouse. Gilbert, Van Avermaet, Gilbert goes. Stibar answers the call. Who's the next to make their move? Van Avermaet goes. Is this the one that's going to stick? No, Van der Poel makes his move and he is gone. Gilbert straight into that gap. Can they get back up? We're into the outskirts of Roubaix now. Van der Poel, he knows he's got it one. Pops a wheelie, just a velodrome ahead. Here he is, 2.5 laps in the iconic Roubaix velodrome. All that remains now between Van der Poel and the 2020 animated Paris-Roubaix title. He's got the line ahead of him. He raises his arm in victory. He sees that line. He can't believe it. Van der Poel takes the title. There's your 1, 2, 3, Matthew Van Der Poel from Greg Van Avermaet and Philippe Gilbert.
My goodness, what an intro that was. That was insane. But Marty, we're so used to hearing that voice behind the races that we all love. But what we don't get to see so much of is your lovely face. Thank you for joining us here and letting people know who you are.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure. I'm just going to move a little bit because the sun's decided to shine in the window since we did our test. Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for playing that. It's a big part of what I do, my art and that animation. I was just kind of sitting here thinking, oh, we've got no races, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to make a little animated Paris-Roubaix. So there was a lot of work that went into that. So thanks for showing it, and thanks for letting me just ad-lib some commentary over the top, because my friends have all been saying, do you know what, we need a little bit of commentary on that. So thank you.
Well, we definitely got some more commentary. I'm throwing you in the mix today. I'm really putting you in the deep end. We've got some more commentary for you coming later on. But at the moment, there really are no races for you to be getting that voice behind at the moment. It's animated or nothing. How's that?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I came out of a busy winter again with the cyclo-cross that I do on GCN Racing, and I had a full year ahead, all booked in. Had some great races, some of the biggest races of my career really as a commentator, and then, like all my colleagues, we just saw those races all disappear, and of course that's what needed to happen, and we're starting to get glimmers now. We're starting to get glimpses now of what things could look like when we come out of lockdown, and yeah, I'm just keeping myself busy, doing my art, planning projects, and seeing what I can do.
Yeah, and your art is a really big thing for you at the moment, because like I say, you actually animated the whole of that video, which is a huge undertaking. How did you get into the art? What's your art life as a cyclist mean to you?
So my background in art and my cartoon started when I was a kid, really, when I was really young, and I was that kid that I would sit up at night drawing cartoons, and my mum and dad would have to come and make me go to bed. And my maths teacher always said that if I come into your art lesson, you're going to be doing your maths, because I was always just doodling and drawing. And yeah, I mean, it's something that I've always done throughout my life. And I was a full-time cartoonist for a while as well. Used to draw comic strips for newspapers and magazines and that kind of thing. And it's just always stayed with me, really. And I did have a break for a while, and it was sort of back in I can't remember, it's probably 10 years ago now, and I was saying to my sister how much I loved it and how much I missed it, and I just started doodling again. I think the first one I did was Bradley Wiggins. Brad's so easy to draw. He's so easy, so quickly that you can pick out who Brad is, and just started drawing them. And Philippe Gilbert is always someone that I've done a lot of cartoons on. He's very, and this is no offense to anyone, if a cartoonist or an illustrator says you're very cartoonable, you make a great toon, it just means you've got something special about you. And I've got to meet,
that's what their mum said as well.
I've got to meet Philippe Gilbert, and a few times, and he signed my sketch pad when I was out commentating Tour of Qatar one year. So, and then I've got things like, I've got a couple, if anyone's ever been to the Lee Valley Velopark, the Olympic Velodrome, I've got a couple of corridors there where my cartoons are all in big frames on the wall, in a couple of the corridors there, and they're huge. They're like 3 meters, they're like 3 foot by 3 foot. I remember when I went in and saw that for the first time. I mean, what an honor as an artist to have your work on the walls of something so iconic as the velodrome from the London 2012 Games.
But I mean, it's something really different for them as well. It's not easy for people to come by such artistic prints of cycling in such a creative way. And I'm going to give you a little chance to give yourself a plug. Maybe producer Hannah can pop it in the comments before we move on to other topics. But just if people are interested in your art, how can they find out more about it?
So if you follow me on social media, so I'm at Marty Mac TV. I'm always posting stuff on there. And then my website is martysartyparty.com. So just something very martysartyparty.com is my website. And yeah, I just put stuff up. And my animation is a bit of a journey with the animation side, which is what that video was. Last year, I went back to school, which you can tell from my hair, probably a little bit daunting, but just went back and did some courses, started to study animation and motion graphics. And that's a bit of a journey for me now, just wanting to explore that a little bit more. And I've always, as a cartoonist and an illustrator, when you start to see any animator or anyone that does anything animation, when you start to see your characters come alive, and then when you can see them and start to produce things like that little Paris-Roubaix one, it's quite a special thing. So my art is really big part of me. And then, like behind me, Greg LeMond, the one I got, Greg LeMond signed that one, Andre Greipel, and then I've got Jens Vogt up there as well. So it's nice as well when you meet people that have seen them and really like them as well.
Yeah, well, we've put that in the comments now, so people can go and check that out. So thank you. And so you've talked about your art journey, and we're going to move on to your commentary journey in a sec. But whilst we've got some audience here, I want to say some hellos, because people are very excited to see you, and they've been putting some things in the comments. So hi, Philip. We've got two Philips watching actually. So hi, Philip, and hi, Philip. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Paul. Hi, Nick and Diane. Oh, do you know Nick and Diane Jago? They're events
organizers. Yeah.
They're watching right now, which is brilliant. Tina, hello. Darcy, hello. And if any of you would like us to give a shout out to your cycling clubs, we would love to hear from you. So put your cycling club's name in the comments below, and we're going to give them a little bit of a shout out later on. So Marty, you told us again just about your artistic journey. What about your commentary journey? How did you get into that in cycling?
I was really lucky, and if you told the 13-year-old me that started going down to Cowshot Track on a Friday night and got into cycling watching the Tour de France on Channel 4, that years later that this is what I would be doing, I think I would have laughed. And I was just in a very privileged position. I met I owe a lot to a guy called Pete Kyle, and he had a production company called Crank Films way back in the beginning of the 2000s. And I had a website I used to do, trackcycling.co.uk, and I was at Cardiff Track, and I met some guys from Trinidad who were over for the Commonwealth Games, and Michael Phillips, who ran those a great series in Trinidad and Tobago, good friend of mine as well, Peter Jakes, played a big role in this. And I got invited to go out to Trinidad and Tobago to just do some writing and just cover the races. And then I bumped into this production company at the London Bike Show, and I mentioned to Pete Kyle what I was looking to do, and said, well, make a really cool film. No idea that I would ever get involved in doing the film. My brother-in-law Gabe was a pro surfer, and he used to go off and make surfing films, Gabe Davies, and I had this idea to do some cycling related stuff like that. So Pete gave me the chance, and we got invited to go to Trinidad and Tobago just to cover the West Indies versus the World Series, it's called. And they've had some famous riders. Chris Hoy's been there, Craig McLean has been there, some real fun top riders. Mike Friedman, Meatball, what a legend. I met him out there as well. And I went out there, and Pete was had a meeting with him. Pete said, you can present it. And I was like, can I really? Can I? And so we went out, and in 2 weeks, Pete Kyle taught me everything that I needed to know. And I started out as a presenter and just started doing bits of commentary as part of that. And the next year we went back, and Sky Sports picked it up. So we went back and we pitched it to Sky Sports. And this is way back. And if anyone is watching, and you might, when in the beginning of the 2000s, you go, it's a program about track cycling, and people in sports channels would go, would people watch that? Would people watch that? And so, yeah, we went back the next year, did it for Sky Sports. And then from there, it just took off. And then I started doing more and more commentary. And my brother Anthony was very involved in cycling.tv, and he gave me an opportunity there to come in and do some commentary on cycling.tv. And so I started doing some live commentary on there, and that was like the baptism of fire. Was my first ever live commentary was a stage of the Vuelta, which was 200 odd kilometers in one straight line, and there was one guy from relaxed Fuenlabrada up the road, and this is pre-pro cycling stats and all those kind of things. And so he was literally up the road on a flat stage, and as a commentator on a flat stage like that, you know he's going to get caught with 10k to go, and you know it's going to be a sprint. But it was literally, I was on my own for that whole thing, just sat there, and that was, but it was such a great grounding.
Thrown in the deep end, is there?
Yeah. And it's just,
do you find that being in the commentary box there, it does give you a unique insight within the sport and the world of the races and the world of the riders? And cyclocross has been something, because obviously you've covered track and road and all of it, but cyclocross is maybe the one that's been really big for you. So what's it like covering the world of cyclocross? Tell us about your
I love cyclocross. Anyone that's ever watched cyclocross when I'm commentating could probably tell how much I love cyclocross. So that journey as well, that started on cycling.tv. Again, a good friend of mine, John Byatt, remember that name because a lot of people owe a lot of their cyclocross viewing to John Byatt. And he's a bit of a genius when it comes to all the complicated rights issues. So I started doing commentary on cyclocross there a long time ago. We were doing the World Cup cyclocross, and then from there we started to get bits of Super Prestige and bits of the DVV Trophy and things like that. And then when Cycling TV closed, I thought that was it. And then Dan Lloyd called me up, and they were starting to do some live racing on GCN, and Dan and I go back from epic trips to the Volta Catalunya, commentated together in the back of a Citroen Berlingo with the monitor gaffer tape to the dashboard because they'd forgotten we were coming and hadn't booked a commentary position for us. So we've had a few journeys over the years. But he rang me up and asked me if I wanted to come and do some live commentary on GCN, and then we started the cyclocross on Facebook Live one winter. And then they launched GCN Racing last July, and this winter just gone, when we went onto YouTube as well, it was just phenomenal. It for me, it's just to be part of it, and I tried to get the rights to see if I could do it myself years ago, throughout the years, and it was very difficult. But to get to that point now with that company behind it and that vision and people that bought into your vision, because we very much, and I've been saying it for the last 10 years to anyone that would listen, cyclocross and women's pro cycling, these are your growth areas. Focus on these, build your audience, and
exciting to watch as well, aren't they? They're such spectator thing, which must make it more enjoyable to commentate. And what are some of like the highlights and standout moments of the events and in those big races that you've been commentating over the more recent times? Like any real highlight moments or moments that you've been commentating that really have made history?
For me, like last winter, one of the high points, and it's probably one of the most emotional commentaries I felt, was Wout van Aert's victory, coming back from what was an almost career-ending crash in the Tour de France and coming back. And it's fun as a commentator. It's fun being a commentator. It's funny because a lot of the time you're sat in a room on your own. People say, "What do you do for a living?" I watch telly and I talk to myself most of the time. So and the cyclocross, and I think you kind of it's a very emotional thing, commentary, and I think for me that was a really powerful thing to watch Wout come back and battle back. Watch some of the epic battles over the years, the last couple of years, between Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel. They've been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love commentating on the emerging talent, just being able to, and again, watching Anna Kay come through for British fans, and knowing Anna through Story Racing and
jumping the
the
planks.
teams like that, you know, just getting out there. Yeah, that moment where she started bunny hopping the planks, and riders like Annick van Alphen and these young riders that and Shirin van Anrooy, that's for me, to be able to bring that to an English speaking audience is really, really, really special. And then there's just so many. I think Jolanda Neff, I think, is last year when she won the GP Sven Nys in Basel, and again she bunny hopped her way to victory there. I love that course. Absolutely love that course. Yeah, I love that course. One of my favorites over the years was the Roubaix. I love Roubaix because I used to manage Magnus Backstedt, and I used to go to Paris-Roubaix. It's my favorite day of the year as well. And the Roubaix cyclo-cross was always a big favorite, getting to commentate battles between Sanne van Passen and Casey Compton, and on that course as well. Definitely big standout moments. And I love it.
And that's the big international scene that you're saying you're commentating in the English language now. You're bringing it to an English speaking audience. What do you think the future is of cyclocross in the UK, and where is it at the moment?
I think it's not just the UK. I think from an English speaking point of view, you know, I think the US I get to commentate each week with Jeremy Powers.
Yeah.
And he's, what we're doing in our comment, Jeremy sat on the other side of the world, and I think we're proving it right now in terms of what you can do remotely. And Jeremy sits at home in America, and I sit in Bath in the studio, and we commentate backwards and forwards between the two of us. And we've managed to work out a system now, and I've now my tech guys at GCN, Sid and John, have rigged it up so that I can see Jeremy and he can see me. So we're nice. If he wants to talk, he's like this. Yeah. So I think from an English speaking audience, you know, it goes, and I think when you look, and you've got your comment section there, and I think when I look at it and I see where everyone's watching around the world, the US, Australia, everyone tuning in, you know, in the UK and Canada, and I think that's what's really special, is the community that we're building around the world in cyclocross. It's a really, really special community, and you can see that in how the sport is growing. And that's what I hope out of this time. We're seeing the road calendar starting to be put together, and it's starting now, and you can see how far into the cross season that it's now creeping. I hope, and I really hope, that that cyclocross doesn't get too adversely affected by how the road season is going to move into the winter months, because as a sport it's growing, and it needs another strong sort of winter to grow that audience.
Yeah, it's really interesting what you're saying there. It's almost like you feel like it's a bit like the internet. It's an international community that's more about being in love with the sport than it is about a national movement. You know, it's not a UK thing, it's not a Belgian thing. It's, if you like cyclocross, you can now connect all over the world, and that's what's going to make it grow. So that's really cool. Marty, the time's running away, and I want to put you to the test. You're such a cyclocross geek, right? If we could have, no offense, obviously, geeks are cool.
No, it's fine.
Anyway, yeah, geeks are cool. We are going, producer Hannah, if you could pop the link into the chat bar so that anybody else at home can play along with the quiz with Marty. So if you can see that in the live comments, you can just click on that link, and this is what Marty's going to see himself right now. So it's 5 questions.
You're going to throw me under the bus now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're never going to get a job again after this.
That's it. It's a career-ending interview. Thanks for that.
Whoops. Right. Can you see that, Marty?
I can see that, yes.
Cool. So it does what it says on the tin. It's testing Marty. We're testing you, a cyclocross quiz. Anyone who's playing along at home, if you've got this on your screens, what's going to happen is you're going to see a multiple choice question. So click your answer and it will take you straight through to the next one. So if you just want to wait, or if you want to click your answers before Marty gives his, then we can all share I mean, you can cheat if you want. It really doesn't matter. No one cares. But we can all see how we pit against Marty. So how well do you know cyclo-cross? Let's take the quiz. Dun, dun, dun. According to UCI rules, what is the maximum allowable height for barriers or planks in a cyclo-cross race? Is it
40, oh, go on then. Sorry, I'm butting in.
70 centimeters, 40 centimeters, or 20 centimeters? Anyone who doesn't know, or anyone who's playing at home, I'll give you 2 seconds to make your click. And Marty, what do you think it is?
I'm going to go with 40, Anna.
Well done. I don't know if that's the correct answer. I'm just saying well done for giving me one. Right, next question, 2 out of 5. Who currently holds the men's World Cyclo-cross Championship title? This is where you're going to have to help me out with the accents, because you have got a difficult job as a commentator saying these people's names. So I'm going to say them, but correct me when I get it wrong. Mathieu van der Poel.
I'm always getting to, because it's Van der Poel, as in swimming pool.
Oh, okay. Mathieu van der Poel.
Good one to remember, yeah.
Tom Pidcock, Toon Aerts. Okay.
Yeah. So it's so we always get told it's Tone Arts.
Tone Arts.
Yeah.
Right. And Wout van Aert.
Yeah, Wout van Aert. Good one. Yeah.
Thanks, Wout van Aert. So anyway, now that we've gone off on a tangent on accents, who's the actual World Cyclo-cross champion?
I'm gonna go with Mathieu van der Poel, Anna.
Oh, very good.
But what a ride from Tom Pidcock at the Worlds, wasn't it?
Yes.
I said in the office on that one. He's going to medal, and everyone was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah."
Was he really seen as the underdog?
Definitely, yep.
UK. Okay, so which of these are specifically forbidden in the UCI cyclo-cross race? Live animals as obstacles, inflatable arches that cross the course, metal barriers or planks, or pouring beer or other alcoholic drinks on races.
I gotta go live animals there, definitely.
Are you sure about that?
You surely can't have that one.
But would you see? I'm helping you out here.
I mean, all of them. You couldn't. I remember there was a great moment. I remember Sven Nys getting off his bike after someone threw beer at him once. So you can't. Can we only have one?
You can only have one because it's
metal barriers is definitely another one.
I have said you are not allowed this.
Right. Oh, God, I'm seeing it. Yeah. I'd say I'm going to go with well, there's a few there, but I'm going to go with live animals. Okay,
moving on. How much did the world champion Celine del Carmen, have I said her name right?
Celine.
Oh, God's sake. Celine del Carmen. Oh, there's more. Alvarado take in prize money last season. So showing the riches worth of cyclo-cross. So just in prize money, did she get 12,000 euros, 55,000 euros, 127,000 euros, or 531,000 euros?
From memory, it was 127,000, I think, in prize money. I think, yeah. I'm going to go with.
Numbers geek, are you?
Yeah.
Love to know what people playing along at home think. Even if you're not clicking at home, you can just put your answers and your thoughts in the comments as well. And we can laugh at your wrong answers together. And 5 out of 5. Marty, which cyclo-cross rider earned themselves the nickname Cannibal from Basel? Have I said Basel right?
Basel, yeah.
Thank God for that. Was it Eddie Merckx, Sven Nys, Schlott Ridner, or Walter Wayland?
It's B, Sven.
Sven Nys. And I threw a red herring in there. Which one is it? Which person is not a real rider?
Oh, the C.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I just put like some random letters together, and I thought this sounds like a cyclo-cross rider.
Sounds like yeah, it definitely sounds like a good cyclo-cross name, that one.
Doesn't it? It sounds like he'd be fast. My fantasy league rider. Anyway, Marty, you got 4 out of 5 correct. Which one do you think that you got wrong?
I think it's the animals on the course I got wrong, did I?
Yeah, yes, it was. You're officially, according to the UCI, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to use live animals as obstacles, but they didn't actually specify that in their rules. What they specified is you're not allowed inflatable banners over the course.
There you go.
Yeah. But well done. And all the other stuff where it was like a little bit more legit, you did very, very well. So I'm kind of a bit done with this cyclo-cross talk, although I don't think anyone else is, and I'm sure loads of people would love to pick your brains on loads of stuff cyclo-cross. So don't worry, because you will get a chance to ask some questions to Marty as we get towards the end of this interview. But I want to speak to you a little bit about women's cycling, because that's also a big part of your world, and you played a big hand in the professional women's cycling scene. You've actually managed teams. So go on, regale us a little bit with some of your tales of women's cycling and your work involved.
Yes, I mean, after I had my own men's team for a couple of years, and then I worked with Endura, and then I was really lucky I worked with René Grote's team, and then I worked a little bit with Matrix with Steph and Helen as a director sportif, which is a job that I absolutely love as well. I love the buzz of being in a team car. Absolutely love it.
In your career, don't
you? I have done a lot in my life, I think, from doing that, and and then from there, so Barney Story, Dame Sarah Story's husband is we've known each other again since we were like 12, 13 years old. We'd known each other since we're lads. And Sarah and Barney asked me to help with the team. So I started with what was Pearl Izumi, and I spent a year, a great year in the team there. Did the women's tour and a lot of other races as director sportif. The women's tour with that team, I think, is one of the highlights of my time as a director sportif. A team of Dame Sarah Story, Jo Rousel, Katie Prankard, as she is now, Katie Archibald, and Kira Horn, and that was my team. And what a team to manage! And it just, again, being in the team car, running that, and I think that background as a director sportif and working in that sort of environment helps me as a commentator as well, because I can kind of, when I do a lot of host broadcast work when I'm on my own, it's that ability to kind of flip from commentator to how I would think as a sport director. And it's just been something that I've been really, really lucky to do. And then the year after I stayed with the team again and worked with riders like Grace Garner, and had some real fun that year with the team as well, going around various races, tour series, ladies tour in Norway. Norway's one of my favorite countries, but that race is one of my favorite races to go and be there as a sport director. But being involved with women's pro cycling for the best part of the last 10 years, it has also, for me as a broadcaster, it's always been a big focus in terms of trying to get and working to get more women's cycling on TV, because it's needed, it deserves it, and I love it. I love commentating women's pro cycling. I now do the women's tour and other races, and GCN racing as well has also really backed that plan as well. In terms of last year, I was with Danny Rowe last year, and we did a lot of races. We did the Giro Rosa again, did the daily highlights of Giro Rosa, and I did that with Danny, and I did it with Mayelen Noriega, who's another former pro rider. She's from Mexico but lives in Spain, and we did Ladies Tour Norway. We did the Colorado Classic, and we were doing things where we would do Norway in the afternoon and Colorado in the evenings. So it's kind of that background as a director sportif in women's pro cycling, and now really helps in terms of pushing broadcasting and really trying to get more airtime and more races on TV.
And do you think there is an appetite for that, like genuinely from the inside? And maybe you might feel it from the outside, from the spectator's point of view. Do you feel like there is a genuine desire and authenticity there to bridge that gap in women's cycling, whether it's from a pro level, getting more TV time, getting equal pay as the men, and getting women at the beginner level just participating in the sport, because there is such a huge gap between men and women. What's it like from the inside? Are people, do people want to see that change?
Yeah, the appetite is there, and no, I won't deny it. We have pushed, and we're like, come on, back it. You want to back this. This is where it is. This is where the future is. You can keep, if you're a channel, you can keep. There's so much cycling on TV. There's so much live cycling on TV that sometimes things can get lost. So if a new channel comes along and they just do the same as every other channel, it's difficult to tell them apart. But if you really go after new rights and really try and do something different, you're making a difference. And that's kind of how I've always presented it, is you can be at the forefront of something and really build something that can make a difference. And for me as well, when I look at teams and I look at riders, when I from my own experience, when I look at Eleanor and Zoe Backstead, I've known Eleanor since she was 2.5 years old, and I've known Zoe since she was a baby. For me to now see someone like their family to me, and now seeing and that's why I do what I do, to be able to see someone like Eleanor going to Trek Segafredo and earning a living riding her bike, which is something that is so important. And seeing Zoe coming through as a potentially a pro cyclo-cross rider and being able to make a living for her sport, it's a big thing for me. And my daughter raced for a while. She growing up, because she was with them, and she raced, she did some racing. She went off in a music direction, but
shout out to Babama Cross in there.
Yeah. So it's important, and that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, it is. And something else that's important, and something that is close to Cycling UK's heart as well, women's cycling, huge part of the campaigning that we do. But also we do like to harp on a little bit about the benefits of cycling. And something that we believe, and has actually been scientifically proven, is the correlation between cycling and exercise and mental health. And you've spoken openly about some of your battles with mental health, and that you'd like to be an advocate for talking more about it, which I highly commend, by the way. And you have bipolar, and this is a part of your life. So for someone who's not experienced it or doesn't know anyone who has bipolar, what's it like? What's the experience of living with bipolar?
Yes, I mean, I've always said, I wanted, like you said, I'd be more of an advocate and more open, because it's something that we can talk about now, and it's something that we need to talk about. And I think it's good, something particularly during this time in lockdown, where mental health issues can, if someone's out there struggling, I'm always here. Just give me a shout out, and you're not alone. And I think for people in my position,
let's get some hearts in the live comments there for that for that statement. We want to see some hearts coming through. Send them through. Yeah, sorry, keep going, Marty.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's something that I've lived with since my early 20s. And bipolar was something that was diagnosed probably 10 plus years ago. And I took medication for a long time. And as anyone that experiences mental health issues, and especially bipolar and things like that, when you go back and you say, I'm really not feeling good, I'm really struggling. And it's being in that, putting yourself in that position and on broadcasting and things like that, when you've got bipolar. But for me, I got to a point, and I watched a great program with, and it was the doctor that gave up drugs. It was a great documentary, and I watched it. It was a series. And so with my doctor, I came off medication, and I did it very, very gradually, and I worked very closely with my doctor. And now I manage it with my exercise and my diet. So you could say I'm the poster child for the benefit of cycling and relating to mental health, and especially during this time. And I think it's one of those things, as we say, it's okay not to be okay, and we're kind of if the positivity juice is running a bit thin at the moment, then it's okay. We have to be a little bit kinder to ourselves. We have to give ourselves a bit of a break, and we have to sometimes go, do you know what, especially during this time, that we have to kick back and just watch TV and just be kind to ourselves. But I use it every day, so I know the benefits, and I can see and feel the benefits of cycling and management of mental health issues. And at the moment, particularly because of the stress and kind of anxiety that I feel going out later in the day when it's busy, I've been rolling out of bed first thing in the morning, because I always wake up really early. I wake up at 6, so I kind of forced myself out of bed at 6 o'clock, a bit like something out of Shaun of the Dead. But I kind of rolled out of bed onto my bike and I've been going straight out in the morning. I'm out on my bike probably by 6:30, or I'll go for a run. And I know that, and I can feel that benefit. And I'll do it sometimes as well when I'm working in the past, where I might get up, have my breakfast, do some work, and then I would break my day and go for a ride at lunch and do that. And I always feel better and more productive for having done it. So it's something that the benefit of it is huge. But again, if someone's on medication, then you've got to work with your doctor and talk to your professionals and the people that look after you to do things properly. That's only my own sort of personal experience, and I know if I go days without getting out, then I feel it. And for me now, I had an accident 2015, so I was out on the road, had an accident with a car, never really got back on the road. So I spend my time on my cyclo-cross bike. So I just take myself off and explore. And I really noticed it this morning, just being out in the woods, just the calmness and just being surrounded by the woods and the noises and things in there. So yeah, it's a big thing for me, and from my own personal experience, yeah, it definitely works.
I think it's brilliant that you've spoken out about it as well, because it can be particularly difficult for men, this topic, to talk about. And you take as well more positives from the cycling community. I know that, because I sometimes think there can be a bit of pressure when you look on Instagram. Everyone seems to be doing their training all the time and showing how hard they're working. And it's good to hear you say that you need to look after yourself and sometimes just kick back and watch TV. But in general, do you find that you can take solace in the cycling community, and that has a positive effect on you?
Yeah, and I sometimes tell myself when I go out and people that experience mental health difficulties, sometimes you go out and you just got no energy. And it's a physical thing as much as a mental thing, and you go out and you're thinking, oh, I should be smashing it today. The sun's shining, the birds are singing, and I should be out here absolutely smashing it and doing my speed and doing my watts and doing my power. But sometimes the rides are, and I tell myself, some rides can be as much mental as physical. And I think there's, in terms of the cycling community and men in particular, I think, guys, we got to talk. We're always here for each other, and I think that's a really good thing, that guys are starting to talk, and keep talking and look out for each other, and just keep an eye on friends and colleagues and people, and just especially at the moment, just calling people up and asking if they're okay. And when we come out of this time, I think we'll all appreciate each other a little bit more, and maybe look after each other a little bit more. And I think as a cycling community, I think we have such a positive impact, not just on mental health, but I've noticed it from mooching around. I've been very lucky in my life for the last nearly 20 years, mooching around the world, doing what I do and commentating in different countries and meeting different people from so many different backgrounds. And I think something that this time is showing us and a lot of people is that it's what you need rather than what you want. And I think I've always been quite a simple, I lived quite simply, as long as you see that when you go to different places around the world. And I think as a cycling community, I've always said, if we could bottle what we have when we're sitting, you know what it's like when you're sat in the track centre and you're and I've been at track World Cups, and you've got people from all over the world all just sitting, interacting and having, chatting together. And if you could take what we have in sport and just expand that into society in general, and just there's so much more that connects us than divides us. And I think when you're connecting with your cycling friends around the world, particularly at the moment, you can see we're all going through the same thing. My friends in Malaysia, my friends in Italy, my friends in Spain, all over the world, the US, that we're all going through the same thing. And especially as a cycling community, I think hopefully we can maybe take and expand what we do, and especially taking cycling and seeing so many more people just out on bikes. And I think that's a big thing of what we need to do after this time, is going, stay with us. When this time's over, don't go back in the car. And I think developing that cycling infrastructure to keep people on their bikes so that your kids can ride to school safely, or you can ride to the shops and that kind of thing. I think that's what we've got to do.
Totally. Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. And we're getting loads of comments in. People are sharing the love. They're really happy to have heard that. So send through some hearts for Marty. We're going to move on. We're going to flip the format a little bit, because we're going to open this up for about 10 minutes now for questions for Marty. So if you've got anything that you'd like to ask him, please put it in the comments, and one by one we'll go through as many of them as we can. So Marty, just a little note to you, if you can give some kind of concise answers to let as many people ask as possible, so we have as few people disappointed as possible.
I talk a lot, sorry.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, that's your job. And I'm moving into my kitchen, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about why in about 10 minutes time. So first questions, please. Hannah's going to put them in the chat bar here. So this is from Diane. What's your favourite race to commentate on, and why?
Hi Diane, thanks for your question. Favourite race to commentate on has got to be, I love the Koppenberg cross. The Koppenberg cyclo-cross has got to be my favourite. I just love the course. I love the whole thing about it, and it's it's just my favourite race. I love that one.
Brilliant. Thank you. Next question from Paul. Oh, this is brilliant. Hi, Paul. He's just retired as CEO of Cycling UK. So really nice that he's still tuning in. He's done an amazing job. Marty, did you ever ride with Steve Dowse, 6-time national cyclocross champion?
Do you know, I didn't get to race with. I think he was a little bit older than me, and he's such a legend. He is an absolute legend, and one of the reasons why I love cyclocross, but I never got to ride. He would have been way too quick for me anyway. But no, unfortunately, never got to ride. But he popped up in our chat on GCN Racing during the winter, actually, and it was one of those Steve Dowse moments. So he's such a legend. So unfortunately, I didn't get to ride with him.
Brilliant. Next question from Philip. Do you remember Muddy Hell?
Oh, going back to Diane's question, you know, I mean, that was a fun night. I think
I was there.
That was such a good race, and and Phil's like proper like crossing it up on the tabletop. Such a great race.
What Muddy Hell is?
So Muddy Hell was the Rollerpalooza event at Herne Hill Track. So a cyclocross in the dark at Herne Hill Track, and it had a proper like big bridge and a massive tabletop. They were going through the beer tent and everything. It was absolutely superb, and it was fancy dress. So I was commentating dressed as the Joker from Batman with green hair, and it was brilliant. Best night. I think it's coming back, isn't it?
Oh, don't! It's got to. Is it really?
I think so. I think I saw something. So
don't tease us. It's like, do you think races like that have an impact on getting more people into cyclocross and gaining popularity of the sport? Or do you think it's like a gimmick?
No, definitely. It's. I love races like that. I love events like that. One of my favourite events that I do was the Rad Race, which was the fixed gear crit. from Berlin on an indoor go-kart track, and Alec Briggs won that this year, and that is one of the funnest things. I love doing events like that.
Yeah, same, off the wall. All right, we've got time maybe for another couple of questions. See what we've got. This is from John. Marty, what pro race do you hope to be commentating on next, and when? Good question.
That's the $1 million question at the moment. I'm to be honest, hold my hands up. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet. As I said a bit earlier on, I had a whole year of commentary lined up. So as of yet, I'm seeing the calendar come out, and it's seeing races that I was supposed to be commentating. So Danny Rowe and I did the Omlop Pet Newsblad, and we did that live. And then we were supposed to be in for the Strada Bianca the next week. So I'm hoping that all of those races will drop straight back into my calendar, hopefully.
Just like that.
Sorry, I can't give you a more specific answer. I haven't heard anything yet. So
it's a strange world at the moment, isn't it? So next question from John. What has been your favorite cartoon or rider caricature you've drawn?
That's my cousin. Hey, John. Thanks for tuning in.
Hello.
Yes, very famous. If you ever watch Scottish football, you'll see my cousin there. He's a referee. My favorite rider to draw, Andre Greipel. I've got one here of Andre Greipel, and he signed that one. Andre Greipel. I did some cartoons, and Andre's cartoon has always been a real favorite of mine. Peter Sagan is another one that I love to draw as well. And he, I think I've got that one in black and white. So that's one of my favorites. Oh, hang on. That's one of my favorites I think I've drawn ever, which is Sagan popping a wheelie. That's a colouring. So there's a colouring. I'm doing a colouring book at the moment. So I'm putting all my cartoons together for a colouring book. So if you follow me on like Instagram or Twitter at Marty MacTV, I'll give you a couple of colouring sheets for free, and then you can spend some time colouring them in. But yeah, got to be Sagan, Greipel, and Gilbert as well. Actually, I love doing that one.
Brilliant. Okay, we've got time for one more question. I'm just going to say hi to William because we went for a bike ride today from Hayling to Havant, through Havant and onto Rowlands Castle, and it just sounds idyllic, lovely. Okay, this one's from Matt. Marty, do you and other commentators get out to try the cyclo-cross courses and race each other? And
do you know what? A lot of the time at the moment, I'm based off site, so I'm based from studio. A lot of commentary is done remotely, so the feed comes into wherever we are, and then we get to commentate it, and we basically see what you see. So unfortunately, I don't get to ride a lot of the courses, but I would if I was out there. I think if I went up against my brother Anthony, I'd definitely still. I think I'd still win that one. Rob Hatch, not sure how good Rob is on a cross bike. He's been doing a bit of cross commentary, but yeah, maybe that's something that we need to sort out.
The battle of the commentators. I'll tune in. I'll watch that. Right, for anyone who's turned up to this a little bit late to the party, hello and welcome. I'm Anna, and I'm having a chat with Marty MacDonald at the moment, commentator and artist, well embedded in the cycling world. And if you're wondering what I'm doing kneeling in the kitchen, it's because of moving to the next challenge. And so I said that because these evenings have been put on by Cycling UK, which is a charity that tries to get more people cycling safely, enjoyably, and easily. And they're carrying out a campaign at the moment, a very worthwhile campaign, and they want to get to 25,000, and they're at about 22,000 at the moment. So really close to meeting the target. And they're carrying out a very special fundraiser, which has got a hashtag Ride Saves Lives. Maybe producer Hannah, you could pop that in the chat. So Ride Save Lives. It's a theme where everyone's asked to ride 7 miles donate £7 to Cycling UK and nominate another 7 friends to do this. We're just kicking it off now. Now, lockdown's been pretty severe in Spain, which is where I am. We have just had it opened up to being allowed to do exercise, but when I was planning this talk, I thought, how could I incorporate this 777 thing? And I thought, I'll tell you what, I'm a bit of a dab hand at a track stand. So I'm going to do 7 minutes track standing. But let's mix this up a little bit, because we've got Marty at the party and he's only a commentator, and what could be more difficult to commentate than a static event? So I decided to put you in the hot seat, Martin. You're going to commentate this. I'm going to track stand for 7 minutes, but to make it a little bit more juicy, I've got our fundraiser from Cycling UK, Felix Hilton, to join me. Welcome, Felix.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hey, Felix.
So it's actually become not just a fundraiser, but a competition. How are you doing, Felix?
Yeah, not bad. I'm sweating quite profusely because of the nerves, but raring to go.
What are you nervous about? That I'm going to beat you?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I don't think you are, because I tell you what, I've got all my excuses ready, and well, I've had a whole light bulb worth of sparkling wine. So that'll put me on my most balanced equilibrium. And I've got a little jump bike. I don't have a fixie, which by the looks of it, you have.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Oh, wrong way, that way. It's there. It's fixed.
What a beautiful machine. So it's between you and me. We've got a track stand for 7 minutes. Going to have some challenges thrown in. Whoever loses pays 7, or we both pay 7 no matter what?
I think we'll both pay 7 no matter what.
How about the person that loses has to pay twice?
Ooh.
All right. All right, I'll take that. So I'm going to go and get my bike. Marty, are you ready for the commentary of a static event? Probably the most boring thing you've ever commentated in your life.
Okay.
I realised.
Anna's got Anna. You've got an awful lot of room there, Anna, either, in terms of bumping on no leaning on the walls on either side of your kitchen and digging your elbows out. Okay, so Hannah's gonna start the clock. Okay, so we'll get Hannah to start. Welcome to the Cycling UK track stand competition 777. Anna Glowinski up against Felix Hilton, and 3, 2, 1, go. So here we have 7 minutes. Remember your track stand. So Felix on the fixie, you can kick backwards and forwards. So you're looking quite cool and comfortable there. Glowinski's looking good at the in Spain on that jump bike. If you've never seen Glowinski do a backflip, we'll see if she can spring one here from the from that standing position. Once so Anna do that. Hilton in the bottom of your picture, looking cool. We've got he's rolling backwards a lot though at the moment. Felix at the bottom of the screen. Glowinski, great poise there from Anna, not moving much at all. I think we might have to watch how much Felix is rolling backwards and forwards. You got to get that track stand down to perfection. Not a lot of movement. So if you've ever seen the sprinters doing this on the velodrome, you've always got that banking to kick against. So Anna, as she said, fueled up for this one with half a bottle of Prosecco. So always great to make sure that you get your pre-race nutrition into you. Not recommended, that one. We're down to 6 minutes now, so that first minute is up. 6 minutes to go. So how the legs feeling? So we're gonna put some challenges into them. So we'll see how they're getting on. Felix at the bottom of your screen, he's looking cool. Again, lots of movement backwards and forwards. Anna at the top. Remember, Anna hasn't got the fixed gear to kick forward and back against. So we'll as we get to the next point, we'll start to throw our challenges in. Both of our track standers at the moment looking phenomenally strong. So at the bottom, we'll get to the next one, and then that will be 5 minutes to go, and we'll throw a challenge in. And remember, that will become a lot more complicated. So I think Hilton at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to go 1 foot. 1 foot challenge. Can we go 1 foot? So 1 foot, 1 foot. There we go. Who's going to be the first to get that foot off? So, there we go. So Felix got the foot off. Remember, we're going to delete. Dab. We've got to dab down. Anna's still on the bike, using the walls. There wasn't a dab there. We'll throw that open to the officials to see whether keeping yourself upright on the kitchen walls is allowed. So Felix is back in it now. Put the foot back on now. So Anna, just keeping herself up against the cooker. Just make sure, make sure your cooker's off and unplugged before track standing against that one. So 1 foot on. We'll see Hannah's scoring this one. So you can put your foot back on now, Felix. Both feet. So both feet back on now. Oh, they're looking neck and neck. So very good. Great poise between these two. So Felix at the bottom, a little bit of an advantage from Hilton in terms of having that fixed gear to kick backwards and forwards against. I'm very impressed in the for the jump bike on a flat surface that Anna is still there. So a little dab there with the hand. We'll see the points in terms of a little dab, whether that's a foot or a hand. And we'll get our next challenge. That's coming very, very soon. The timer is counting down here. Both looking very cool, very calm, very comfortable here at the moment. This could be the start of something big. Will this be the World Track Stand Championships? Okay, next challenge is one hand. So one hand. Oh, we both got the hand off. Oh, dab on the wall with the hand. So dab on the wall with the hand. Oh, down on the cooker. Felix looking good at the moment. He's got the advantage here at the moment. Another little dab there from Glowinski. Hand down on the cooker and onto the wall. Oh, the balance is there. Felix looking strong here at the moment. At the bottom of your picture there. Still there. Want to let them know when they can put the hand back on. But one hand, Anna, again, maybe showing the signs of a little bit too much Prosecco. Arm down, elbow down, hand on the wall. And the balance just starting to go, the pump in the legs. Okay, hands back on, both hands on the bars. So you can put your both hands on. There we go. Okay, so I'm rubbish at maths, by the way. Where are we in terms of time? One hand. So we're looking good here. Who's your money on in this one? I think we're at the moment, we've had a few more dabs. We've got 2 minutes. So we're at the 2 minutes here. Okay, so sitting on the saddle, can you sit down and do the track stand? So sitting down. Oh, there we go. Felix is sitting down. Anna just lowers herself gently into position there. Still got that. Both are there. Looking good at the top of your picture. So who out there watching? Who do you feel has the advantage? Oh, Felix, a little time for a little moment, straightening his hair. That's starting to showboat a little, is Felix Hilton. Just decides to do his hair. Maybe that should have been... we've got 1 minute and 30 to go. 1 minute and 30 to go. Minute and a half left. Hilton feels like he's got the advantage here when he's starting to... do his hair. It was looking good anyway, but that's it's all about how good you look. And at the bottom of your top of your picture, so Anna just starting to maybe show a little bit of pump now. The arm pump, the quads. Just Felix definitely got the advantage with the fixie. Right, back to your favoured comfy position now. Back to your favoured comfy position if that's out of the saddle. And I think Anna's picture's frozen. At the top of our screen because he's
that's not fair then.
have we paused our picture? Oh, Anna's had a little bit of we've got a little bit of buffering, I think, from Anna's as she goes into standby at the top. There we go. She was looking good up until that point. Oh, we've got a little technical issue. Anna's dropped out of the stream. We don't know whether that was a pre-planned tactic from Anna to drop out of the stream. We'll wait till she gets back in here. Hopefully someone can put her back from standby. Maybe a computer's gone to sleep there in terms of that one. But up until that point, both looking very cool, very calm. As another nice Felix just showing his technical ability here, and Anna says we're getting Anna on the chat. She can see everything, but we just can't see Anna at the moment. So hopefully we'll get her back, and she might just drop back in there. But Felix, how are you feeling at the bottom of your picture? You all right?
Hot and sweaty. I think would be the best way of describing it.
It's the genes, isn't it?
It's the genes. Never a good idea when cycling.
It is. But I think we're getting towards the end of that. We're dropping it just down to me and Felix now. Looking good there. And are you out and about commuting on the fixie? Is that something that you use for commuting?
You know what? It's something I used to commute on.
Okay.
Having ridden on a fixed for so many years, my knees just decided that maybe this isn't such a good idea anymore. So, no, this is just a bike to have a little spin around on at the weekends.
That was something that always impressed me with the fixed gear crit riders, that they now just jump and slide the back wheel. Anna's back. There we go. So, what's that?
Back. But I tell you what, like, genuine that my internet cut out, but I'm so grateful that it did, because my arms and my legs and the bottom of my feet were absolutely killing me.
You could just see your legs were starting to.
You're completely chilled about this.
I'm sweating bullets.
You could do this all night.
I tell you, we could do it. I think Felix is up for a 24-hour track stand challenge. Oh, did I just say that? Sorry.
That sounds like one hell of a commentary gig. All right, so let's get rid of Felix. I think we can safely say that Felix, you beat me. Thank you so much. You are the winner. Oh, Marty, that was great. I'm literally. How can you sweat from not moving? I wasn't moving, and now I'm sweating and I'm shaking. But you did a fantastic job, and you also showed how sterling you were in the face of adversity when I just disappeared from screen there. So that was brilliant, Marty. You've been an absolute pleasure tonight. You told us some brilliant stories and talked about some really important issues. And if people want to follow you and find out about your art, they can look up in the comments from earlier on. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
See you again.
See you soon. All right.
Yeah, bye. Okay, so it's just me left now in the studio, and I'm completely flustered. I'm worn out. And I just want to say that it's brilliant Cycling UK putting this event on. We've got one more left. We've basically got a bonus one in the series left, and it's a duo act. We've got Ollie Wilkins and Ben Deacon from the world of free ride mountain biking. And they're a bit of a comedy act as well. So the two of them together, I have no idea what's going to happen. So make sure you do join us next week for an audience with. I'm Anna. I'll see you then.